the
How's
podcast.
my hair?
Here,
Is my hair
Ari,
okay,
start
guys?
the podcast.
Hair
Your
okay?
hair is
Hello,
fine.
guys.
Mustache is fine.
It's good.
You
Hello.
what
We
is
did it.
with? Yeah, you look like a cowboy criminal. You're like if Cad Bane wasn't an alien. Hi, everybody.
All right, guys. This week it's Jedi Journals, and it's my week to kick us off. Ari Stardust coming at you live from the Mitten State, and I am here with two of my best buddies in all of Star Wars and the United States. We've got Black Series Daily Desk Matt, and we've got my brother, my literal brother.
Hi.
He's over here to me being here, Ant. I am not a committee. You know them, you love them. We have a massively cool show tonight. We have got a massively cool audience with our friends Austin, Brian, and Ian all coming in hot. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here and talk Maul with you all. We're really happy to have Mudhorn Station back this week. Missed you last week, but I'm glad that you're with us today. And I'm just going to kick us right into what we're talking about tonight, and that is going over to Matt to talk about Hasbro Fanstream.
What is up, you Minoct winged moof milkers? I got to get one of those in like we did on the old podcast. But anyway, hey guys, I'm Black Series Daily Desk. Happy to be here. I wanted to kick off the cast. I think everybody knows, if you don't know, the high holy days are upon us, May the 4th and Revenge of the 5th. You know, every day is May the 4th for us, but we like to make space for the scripture on the
It's kind of like Valentine's Day, you know.
It's like I think of it as if I was like a really religious guy and I spent every day with the scripture, but like I had work. It's like that's my pious day where
We are religious.
Yeah, we are religious. This is our religion. But every year these guys know I throw a party
It's a hokey
on
one.
The weekend. Nothing beats a good blaster at your side. But I throw a party at home and then I take a couple days off work and I make sure that I watch as much Star Wars as possible. But yeah, so on that day, we have been told that we will be getting a bunch of Hasbro Pulse fan stream announcements. I know for those of us, I would be shocked if anybody on here is not a yak face addict like all of us. We know that a lot of stuff has entered the country. A lot of it is Mandalorian and Grogu. Mudhorn Station, I'm doing the same. I'm making it Maul May the 4th. But anyway, but that there's a lot of
Mudhorn
stuff
Station threw in his comment there. I'm going to watch Maul Shadow Lord.
That's what I said. I'm doing
on
the
May
same.
4th.
That's Maul.
I know,
May the
but we
4th
didn't say what he actually said.
That's
so
fair. I was just so excited. I get it. Yeah, I took some death sticks before this, so I'm going nuts. But yeah,
I think we all did.
So we know a bunch of stuff has entered the country. We know that there's been a lot of rumors about a bunch of Black Series figures potentially beyond that. So I wanted to take a little minute for us all to speculate. I know, Ari, you're mixed on everything that you collect. I think Ant and I are obviously obsessed with Black Series. So knowing it's going to be definitely Mandalorian and Grogu season 2, series 2. I want to say right now, give me Embo.
Yeah, we don't want to say that. We know we are
because of the mural.
It's basically been revealed on the mural. Yeah,
100%.
So you're gonna get your boy,
and I think the other.
And I'm gonna get him too.
Oh, well, we're definitely good. That is like one of the few figures I'm gonna pre-order, regardless of how easy he'll be to get, because I just need to know he's coming. But then the other one, I'm a little bit, and I want to get Ant, especially your opinion.
Yeah.
I know we're going to get a Zeb. Like, I just know it in my heart. But I think it's going to be the flight suit Zeb.
And see, that's where I think
I'm not as excited
are not
for that.
super excited for flight suit Zeb. I love my pilot figures, and so if I could add a flight suit Zeb to that, I would be stoked. Now, to that same, I'm not going to be disappointed if it's not flight suit Zeb. I'll be really excited, especially for you, my man. But I don't know, his flight suit's that blue and the what, I love it. So I'll be really happy if it is the flight suit.
What I want is, I don't know if everybody's seen the 40-second clip from the movie they released where they're in like a speeder chase shootout. I won't say anymore if people don't want spoilers, but Zeb is in a very cool plainclothes costume in that.
Oh, so we're never going to see it like Poe's costume in The Rise of Skywalker.
I don't want to get into that, but I don't want that to happen. I do want that definitive Poe, and I want this definitive Zeb. I think a lot of times that everybody, I think that listens knows Rebels is by far my favorite Star Wars show, including live action that ever came out. Holding out Andor, that's in a class of its own. So whenever there is a movie or a live action and we get a new series of figures from it, they become my de facto Rebels figures. So like my Ahsoka, Sabine, Hera, and Ezra. So like I want this to become my de facto Zeb. And so those are like the two I would be the most excited about. I loved the first wave. I think they wanted to show things we knew that we saw in the trailer, so it was very Imperial heavy.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm hoping for that. And then there's also been a rumor. Well, first, Ant, what are you hoping for? And Ari.
So I would love that Zeb as well. And I really am neutral on what he looks like, but just a new Zeb would be great. I think that would be, I mean, the thing is that we don't know, and I don't know how they would how they release it, because I was not a collector really at the time of the other movies, so I don't know how this is done really, but like there may be characters that we don't even know are going to be in this film.
Oh, 100%.
You
I don't know
know,
if we're going to get
so,
them
like,
until a third series, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hold out my hopes for people like Cobb Vanth. And Timothy Oliphant has repeatedly said how he wants to continue his
And
role
he's
as
so
Cobb Vanth.
awesome.
And they've even had chats about it. So who knows? I mean, I think it's entirely possible.
Did you guys see the Jon Favreau clip about Cobb Vanth?
No, I did. Can you send that to me?
Remind me the gist of it, though. I think
it's Jon Favreau's doing a signing, and this guy's like, "Tell us about Cobb Vanth." He's like, "Oh, he's fine. He's fine. He's there."
Yeah, but
That's hilarious.
It's like a completely non-answer, but it's like Jon Favreau has some sort of plan for Cobb Vanth.
Yeah.
So you know what's hilarious and completely irrelevant? Here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I live, there is a sign on one of our major roads, and it, the Jurassic Park logo, right? But it says Timothy Oliphant Painting. So there's a guy who has that name. It's Jurassic Park logo. I took a picture of it the other day. It's fantastic, and I love it. And I almost want to have him paint something for me just because of that logo. So that was a fun, irrelevant fact with Anthony.
That's fine, man. This is we're in free flow, conversational fugues. But
Mudhorn Station, Alex from SW Explained.
Yeah, and also I just want to say, Mudhorn Station, you got to replace that Zeb, but I'd love to see that custom. And then Metal Jedi, I think you're going to get that Embo. I know he said that he wants Embo and Lord Starkiller there is most wanted. I think you're up for a good year. I had a good year last year.
He's preparing to topple Palpatine's statue. I don't know if you guys saw that with a riot if we don't get Embo.
No one wants Palpatine's statue to go.
But I wanted to say before we get off the topic also, there is a 2-pack, and I thought it was
that's what I was
interesting.
going to ask about.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. I was a little disappointed when they announced the updated Nihilus. I think we talked about this in Treya. I think they're cool, but we're in such a time, where we're getting all this new content. Like, let's focus on that. But I'll say that I'm hoping in this wave, as I always hope.
What up, Andre?
Hello. What up, Andre? But I'm genuinely hoping that I finally get my goddamn season 4 Kanan. And I know it's not likely, but then on that note with the 2-pack, if we're going off Mando, I really, really want either a Lawson 2 Boots. I want a Spybot.
Yes.
I want a Spybot. I want a 3-pack with a Spybot, an Artemis, and Scorn. Rest in power, Scorn. Sorry, we do spoilers here. It's probably not the cast for you if you don't want spoilers. But I want that so badly. That I can taste it.
And I don't know. Do you think they're gonna do this
it's
one?
Icarus, not Artemis. Sorry.
Maul one potentially. So
I think they're gonna do a High Republic one, of course.
You always think that. If they do a High Republic one, everybody we'll have to do like a rest in peace episode, because that's it. He's done. That's all he wanted in life. He can jump. That's the
Skier and Keith. 2-pack or 3-pack.
I don't know a lot about High Republic, but I know Skier and Keeve from the comic, and I love them.
Yeah, that's why. There's images that everybody knows.
I want to just spew potential spoilers because they would be questions of mine for you, Ari, about something I just read about that. But I'm just going to keep that to myself for now for another cast.
I've never met people that like High Republic. You're like my only friends that like it so much, and I'm not like as into it. I don't dislike it. And it's so funny because it's a
simple fact that the content is something that you have to read.
Yeah, I just don't want to read a book, but I do love that when you guys, everybody that's listening, when we have a group thread with David, who's not on tonight, and then the gentleman and me, and whenever the three of them start talking about High Republic, I'm just like sitting there on the chat, and I always think like, when I just talk about Star Wars in front of other people, is this what they feel like when they don't know what's going on?
Probably,
probably 100%.
It's like those memes that are like they ask a simple question. It's like, come on, let me come into my library.
It's like whenever when I showed my brothers like a lot of Star Wars stuff for the first time, he was joking that he'll be like, "Hey, who's the guy with the green lightsaber?" And I'm like, "All right, so you got to go back about 30 years. Padme Amidala was involved in it." And my brother's like, "I just want to know who that guy is." And I'm like, "We will get there when we
We'll get there when we get there."
But anyway, I'm very excited for this Hasbro stuff.
Now was the other thought though, is it for sure a 2-pack or is it potentially a deluxe? Because my hope is for a Rot of the Hutt out of
I
this
know.
movie.
I would love that.
Ooh.
The one thing I want from this more than life itself, and I don't collect a lot of vehicles, is an ATRT. I want an ATRT so badly, and I can't even fit it in a picture. I'd have to like do like a pan of it, but like
You're finally
want
going
an ATRT just to have an ATRT. So,
Yeah, it's kind of one of those
my what?
one of those things that is really unnatural in all senses.
This is more
But
of
you
a
have to
flex
have it.
than this is more of a flex than a joke.
And then you realize how
the dark side is the
difficult it
path to
possibly-
unnatural ways. It is.
Like how challenging.
Do you
it is
remember
to
when
get
I
that
visited
into a photo.
when I
Mhm.
visited everybody, I took a picture of Ahsoka on top of that thing, and being able to get the shot of Ahsoka on top of that in Anthony's backyard when I said it would take 5
It almost
minutes.
cost
was
us friendship.
Yeah, it was Anthony, my wife, and his wife talking. I was like, I'll be back in 10 minutes. And like 90 minutes later, I was like, I don't think I can do this. So like, but yeah, I definitely think we're due for a vehicle. And I love that, I started collecting around Mandalorian Rise of Skywalker. And that was a big time, where I really got heavy into it. And I just remember at that time I wasn't collecting vehicles. But I think the hype is real. We're really seeing a launch. I know you guys talked about the Burger King stuff last week. We're getting movie cups. They really gassed it up, starting with that final trailer. And it feels like, for the first time in forever, we're in Star Wars movie launch mode. And it's and we have Maul in between. And it is a beautiful time after a wasteland of content. And even the comics were like closing out. And they're still figuring out where they're going with the next comics there. It's a bunch of like one-offs and one-shots right now. But we're back, baby. And that's showbiz, and we're in it.
Speaking of Maul, before we get into our review and discussion here, we have a pretty big first announcement for those who are watchers, and we will be posting this on our Instagram, Jedi Journal Star Wars podcast as well. We are going to be having a Revenge of the Fifth collab.
Collab.
Yes. So for those of you who are new to the collab space with other groups, you invite us, Jedi Journals, as a collaborator on your post. Post something Sithy because it's for Revenge of the Fifth. I just took my photo today. I'm very excited about it. I don't do bad guy shots, and I did the Moab here.
I was surprised that was your shot when you sent it to me. I was like, wait, did Ant do that for you?
It's going to be a really fun time. And the exciting thing about this is anybody who does a collab with us on this, we're going to take your photo and we're going to show it off on the podcast next week before we talk about Maul. So it's going to be collab photos and the Maul finale next week. So we're really excited for that.
Solid 3-hour podcast.
And
so just strap in,
hopefully
make some popcorn,
David,
crack a beer.
David,
Some
who isn't with
spotchka.
us tonight, who we miss dearly. But he's well, everyone. He's well.
He's not with us anymore.
Andre, you can
not with
collab with us at
presently.
any time between now and next week.
Yeah, Andre,
if you
just
drop
let
a
us know,
collab
man.
with us
Yeah.
with Jedi Journals.
We
will
do
happily
accept
take
collabs when we can, for sure. So yeah, but this will be a special one where you end up on the cast, the picture itself.
So with that announcement underway, let's start talking about
Hell yeah,
the
Metal
show.
Jedi's in.
Yes, I knew he would be.
You know what? I'm in too, guys.
You better be too.
I'm doing it.
I'm sorry, what are we doing again? Can
I
somebody
don't know, but I'm in.
You're in.
All right. I'm
Son
going
of
to
a
kick off
bitch,
our
I'm
Maul
in.
discussion tonight, guys. And this
Tell us
week,
about your thoughts.
this
Yeah,
week
Ari,
it's
what's going
hard.
on?
We crank it up to 11 on action this week. And
Are you and I getting in a fight? Can we just talk about that in advance?
we might be getting in a fight. I
Oh,
wish you'd been on last week where we wouldn't have gotten in a fight.
Go for it. I'm ready.
No, for me, episode 7, there are a couple things that I really liked about episode 7, and that was one, the animation was insane. Specifically in the cave fight between Maul and the Inquisitors, where you see the steam rising off the lightsabers as they're fighting. Yeah. That scene in and of itself, I hate to put a pin on something this soon after it came out, but I believe that is my favorite lightsaber fight in all of Star
Wars. I mean, that is amazing. It's an amazing lightsaber fight.
So
here's
good.
Here's the thing about that cave Star Wars fight is that y'all know, if you watched Sith Happens, and probably I've already mentioned it here, but episode 5 of The Acolyte is my favorite episode of Star Wars. And this episode actually gave me Acolyte vibes, episode 5
100%.
Of that fight in the cave. And I was just like, my hair stood up on my arms.
Yes. I love that for you. I absolutely do love that.
Yeah, and that's like getting an RE10. Because saying something might be better than episode 5 of The Acolyte. I'm pretty sure you could do the moves from that at this point. All of them.
Absolutely.
Just Home Alone.
I've watched it a couple times.
Punching somebody like a poor Jackie.
It hurts me. It hurts me so much to watch.
I would say, Ari, though, the thing I liked about that cave fight too a lot was I think there was an element where we really felt in the previous episode that Maul, which is, by the way, one of my favorite Star Wars episodes of all time, the initial Marek fight. But there was maybe a little bit of a feeling that Maul was pulling back, and him against the 2 Inquisitors, especially when he's damaged, right? There was, we know he's not going to die, but there was, despite that, a very real sense of like, oh my, is he what? You know, like it's like they were really like the thing this show does so well is I feel like a lot of the other shows, Inquisitors are always intimidating, but this show is the first real time that you were like, Dank Farrik, those Inquisitors are goddamn terrifying, and they do a really good job of that. I think even more so. Twin Suns Mudhorn Station, that 20-second light, that's one of the best lightsaber fights too, and so poetic. But like this, they make the Inquisitors so intimidating and so formidable in a way that like really feels, and it's the darkness of the show and everything. Like there's a hostility to it that I feel like we all kind of in our heads have headcanon that was the case and everything. But this is the first time when an Inquisitor comes on, I'm like, oh God. So like I think like cave fight. Whew.
Absolutely. They are quite menacing, and the fatal flaw in Star Wars when we're telling stories in between gaps is we know that our heroes are going to get out of the stories.
Oh yeah.
It's the hardest part of the whole thing. But there's one other thing before I get into ratings. I don't have a lot to say about this episode outside of ratings time. But I wanted to talk about this last week, and it came up again in conversation with David earlier this week. And
who's not with us.
Yes, not with us.
He's presently tonight. He is well.
We really, I really liked that we get to see the planet get locked down.
Yes,
it functions in a way that it bridges a gap in the imperial process, basically, because we see in Bad Batch where the clones are trying to get off the planet. I think that Cut Laquan and his family are on they need the chain codes. Yeah, and we see in Tales of the Underworld Ventress working in a locked down planet as well, and we know that we got there, but we don't know how we got there. And now we're seeing it implemented, and it's really kind of scary to see that, but it's also really informative of the galaxy, because we also see it with Lothal, but Lothal is already under occupation.
Yes. Yeah.
So
and you kind of see it in Andor too with don't you? I mean,
well, what starts happening on Farrik's is Farrik's, but
the Empire was already there though for that.
Yes, and I understand what you're saying, but I have thought about it, and I think that is a really
Farrik's to
think of. But and I've wanted to bring this up on every podcast we've done, and I just keep forgetting. But to draw those
like
similarities,
80 podcasts, dude.
But no, just for this Jedi Journals.
Okay.
But like you've got now this planet, Farrik's, Lothal, and then
it's like Janix, I think is the name of this planet.
Yep. Gen X. So, anyways,
love
it's
that
just
X.
interesting to see the similarities, and I hadn't really thought about that though, Ari.
Oh,
About
that's a good point.
this is the first time, and the real horrifying part is just watching how quickly,
Yeah.
effectively,
And
this
it
happens.
makes sense with where they are at that point in Bad Batch when we first see that too.
Yes.
Like we know that they got set up quick, but now we see them get set up quick.
Well, I think one of the
and I'm gonna
things
pass over
that
to you, Matt, now.
yeah,
just
well,
so
I
you know.
think I'll go into my episode stuff, but I think, and I've said this, I know some folks didn't listen to Ant in my previous podcast, but I love the Bad Batch. I know there's people that are detractors, and I know it kind of takes a little time sometimes. It's like it's like the show is really about how to survive in a gig economy, but like I love it. So like basically though, I think similar to Andor with the politics and what you're talking about, Ari, like one of the things, and like ostensibly Bad Batch, Maul's not a kid's show, Bad Batch in its own way is it's like a masterclass in how a totalitarian regime takes over, right?
Mhm.
Manipulate
Oh, yeah.
currency, limit information, alter the way you can travel, and that's how you do it. But so like I love that we saw that beginning part here. I was gonna say about the cave fight, I'm totally with you on that. Maul, each episode has like a favorite line of mine where it's like the Emperor wants you dead, and he goes, "The feeling is that makes two of us," and like pulls it down.
Yep.
But that was great. But one of the things, I was rewatching it right before this, and the shot of the Inquisitor ship landing and the overhead of Marek walking to it, that is some like true when Ridley Scott was in good form, because I really think the show is kind of like
100%.
Star Wars meets Blade Runner meets Dark Knight is like my description of the show. But a very funny thing that struck me was you've got the crow and the door opens and he looks so intimidating, but like Marek had already been called and told that this fight was happening. So I would have loved like getting 30 seconds after that where Marek's like, "No, back on the ship, we gotta go." Like, and every Darksider with their diva entry every time in the show, it's like literally the pose on it is insane on everybody. But the thing that
they're all aura farming.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, it's like everyone. Like they have a fan near them that we just don't know about that's blowing. But it's like in Rogue One, Darth Vader when he's watching the Tantive get away, his cape is blowing, and it's like he did that with the Force. But there's no wind in outer space. But anyway, a thing that I really liked about this show, this specific episode, beyond the visuals, which were phenomenal, was there's a lot of it's poetry. It rhymes, and we'll talk about the next episode, and I really love that, I think even more than this episode for a lot of reasons. But one of the things that they had to get to in that next episode is like, Ari, my favorite analogy that you ever made is that all of Maul Shadow Lord is a person throwing a hissy fit, like, I didn't get to be the Emperor's, but he's like this boogeyman hissy fit guy. But there is a part of Darth Maul that is Howl Runner.
Howl Runner's here.
Part of Darth Maul is Howl Runner. You're right.
Here he is, Darth Runner, Darth Howl Runner. But no, but there is an element of Darth Maul that we've had him the whole season as the hissy fit boogeyman who we love because he's tough and he's badass, but he's broken, right? And I think he's in this I'm getting my way type of mode, which is very Maul, and we've already talked about multiple times. It's very Sisyphean, that it's boulder up, boulder down is the definition of madness. But first you see Scorn die and Artemis, and that's something that is a parallel to Savage, right? You see when Maul is really defeated, I think genuinely when his hands are up and it looks like he's really crying for mercy, that is a moment where he really reverted to being this child and the trauma of seeing another Zabrak die in a very similar fashion to how Savage was killed. And there's an element here of this is a show for the most part about bad guys or people that are living in the gray, other than my main man Two Boots. I recognized him without the boots, by the way. But my main man Two Boots, but
such a great line.
Yeah, so great. But the show is really about bad guys, and different versions of bad guys are people that operate in the gray. And I think one of the things that was really missing for me is everybody, I guarantee, that's listening to this podcast or that like our friends really have a fundamental understanding of the really tragic nature of Maul. And the show has taken us on this really great wild ride of action and adventure. But this episode and the next one, they're like, it was great writing because you need to take a beat and reestablish the audience's empathy for Maul. And they did a really good job of kicking it off here and then into the next episode for me.
To that point, David would have missed this conversation significantly. He wanted me to bring up specifically Maul's vulnerability in these episodes. And
listen, David, I got you. But yeah, and I love that. And I also loved him putting his hands up. And then when they said the Emperor wants you dead, and you get that great line, like, that makes two of us. But Maul, there's a line Maul has in every episode that I'm like, this is phenomenal. My favorite episode of the season is still when Devin runs away in anger in the first time, and he was saying, like, trying to kind of like coerce her through like nice seduction, and he goes, I can work with that. It's like, well, it's up there with what fun, but it's already in my favorite. But anyway, and I think that when they said the Emperor wanted to kill him and he went into, you know, hissy fit baby mode, he was in this like, I'm wounded, I'm vulnerable. It's just a second. It's a flicker of that real, true lost trauma. And then when they say the Emperor, it's like saying, yeah, well, Dad hates you. And then he gets really mad, but it brings him back to this mission and what he's doing. And that's really what I liked about the episode. I think the action scenes were phenomenal. I mean, guys, Spybot, come on, lifting a guy and getting and throwing him off of the Wilhelm screen, like, it doesn't get better than that. Spybot might be my favorite character, by the way. But
100% gets better than that. But that was a cool scene.
Yeah, and I love, you know, I love the Mandalorians trying to leave them and the rocket launcher action and everything. Like, what a show! But I think that the depth they're bringing in and the pacing slowing down a little now, based on that real roller coaster we had at the beginning. We're now settling in to truly what this story is, and that is why I continue every week to love it more and more. It's really like reading a book, and they're pulling you in, and now we're getting to kind of like the meat of some of the emotion.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
All right, Ant, top that shit.
No, I absolutely will not. I think that you guys, this conversation has gone great with episode 1, and I share a lot of your guys, or episode 7, and I share a lot of your guys
episode 1 of the week. You're good
of this, and you know, for me, some of my favorite parts were, you know, I loved the bridge fight scene. I thought that was just so well done.
And my girl Rook, who I love too, in that is so awesome.
She was awesome. Just the, you know, blowing up the I don't know what they are, what the flying ships,
the
LAATs. Like, they're just like the whole, like we've said, like just the cinema of this show is incredible. And you're sitting there, you're like, am I watching an animated show or is this live action? And in certain scenes, you know, when it's not focusing on a face or something, and you just see those ships flying around, and you're like, this is live action. So it just gets me geeked up in like just watching, like jumping from the bridge to bridge, and when his knee, when it kind of, you show that spark when he lands. My God.
I have a theory about that. Like, going into the next episode.
Shit. So what I think probably, it really doesn't have anything but a parallel in perhaps my mind, but I thought it was interesting that they had him continue to beat his broken leg.
Yes, he's angry.
Similarly to how Kylo.
Yes, I couldn't put my finger on it, but I'm with you on that parallel. It's like, that it wasn't yourself together with anger.
So it's like he almost wanted to notice, you know, that was a vulnerability and that's what is keeping him going, is what I was kind of thinking there. So love that. Love the cave scene. Incredible. Now, another thing, you brought up the Mandalorians leaving, which I thought that was fun.
Screw those guys.
Was it Vario?
Vario, I think his name was. No, Vario is the little guy. Yeah. When he's trying to get on the ship,
he doesn't get
trying to get on it. They're like, nope, not today, which is great. Works out well for him. But taking a step back with Mandalorians, I thought the foreshadowing for that was just, I loved
you
that
were waiting
scene
for it to happen
when they were walking, and you know, when she says back to him, mercenaries have their limits too. You know, money stops flowing. That's it, basically. And then scene moves on, and now a couple minutes later, we've got this epic battle going on, and you're like, who's gonna walk? And you know, Vario is an easy one. Obviously, he's gonna try to sneak off. I didn't necessarily think the Mandalorians were going to betray them like that. I was kind of shocked, honestly, but it kind of is interesting to see where those allegiances lie, and perhaps even, you know, with Rook having made that comment, how far will she go?
Yeah, because she's with him because he had the Darksaber, but there's a point for her too where it's like, you're actively trying to get us killed with whatever this side hustle you have with trying to find an apprentice. And I actually have a thing about that when you're done, Ant, that I wanted to say, but yeah.
Popping in before Ant continues, because it's relevant to what he was saying about the cinematicness of this.
Is it Mudhorn?
Ian Mudhorn Station saying Marek's Daredevil moment was beautiful.
Oh yeah, from season 1 of Born Again, right? It's so good. So good.
That was so good. Yeah, so nope, I loved the episode. I thought the pacing was great. I thought the action was great, and just the storytelling, phenomenal work. I mean, I loved it. So what do you got, Matt?
Okay, so I had one, this is a non sequitur, then I actually have a Maul thing, because I loved your point about him hitting his electronics the way Kylo hit himself. And we all know, I'm gonna go on a slight tangent. We all know that I like Force Awakens is like my second favorite Star Wars movie. And there's a big argument that how did Rey beat Kylo? And if you think about it, I just want to say this to anybody that doesn't like this. He got shot with a bowcaster that was established to basically destroy Stormtrooper armor. You could have strapped that thing to the Death Star and just gotten rid of the laser. All right. So anybody that's like, how did she win that? The guy got shot with a bazooka. Anyway, back to Maul. Sorry, it just makes me nuts. But anyway, so one of the things I really like that before we get into the next episode is I think everybody here had this feeling that Devin was going to be Darth Talon, and you're going to get this death or something that's going to push her over. And I'm starting to lean towards one, it is not that easy. And that is a really good, smart writing choice. You've written yourself into a corner. How do we turn this person that is inherently conflicted? And as Maul said, like her vacillations are wearing thin on him. And I think there might be a different angle for her. Like, what if he does kill the master, or that she loves, I don't know, Daki, and the whole show after that is her chasing Maul to get revenge. Like, why does she have to become the apprentice just because in Legends he had a Twi'lek apprentice? So Lady Cast Howlrunner, yeah, Lady Cast is the shit. Anyway, I like that, and I would love a show where she's like continually fighting her darkness.
Well, we know it's
chasing Maul.
We know we're gonna have a season 2. The further and further we get into this, the more and more I think we are going to be ending on some sort of inherent cliffhanger. I think it is not going to be
a nice bow.
There was some speculation, I don't know, within our group, but somewhere I was one of the groups on the gram or something. With the last episode being called finale, it's like, well, it's probably gonna be a standalone season. We're probably not gonna have a season.
Maybe
2.
It's Daki's finale.
It could be, but I don't know. Part of me wants to. I am curious. I don't know if.
What if that's not the name and they just didn't want to put out the name?
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
I bet if we look today, it's going to say something else.
What
did you guys?
What I just
like finale is just what it says because it's a season finale. Did you guys when Phantom Menace came out get the soundtrack that came out like 3 weeks before?
I still have the
CD. Do you remember the track that I have the CD at home? The track that said the death of Qui-Gon Jinn? And it was like, son of a bitch. Like, you were like, on the CD. It's like 3 weeks before the movie came out. And so mad. And after I was like, why didn't you just have Padme as queen? Like, make that a song title. But anyway, I'm with you, Ari. I don't think that's the title of the episode. And like, I kind of love when they put the titles of the episodes up, but I also love the way they did like Mando originally, where like you got like it was chapter 3, and then when it dropped 2 days later, you got the name of the episode, which I kind of prefer because I know, Ant, you hate to speculate because it creates disappointment. I wish I could stop myself from speculating, and this shit is not helpful.
Don't worry. We're gonna have a full speculation on Mando.
Here's the thing about speculation, though. I do like that's what we do on the show. It is fun, but I think where it translates into disappointment is where you get yourself so built up, and not you, Matt. I'm not saying you,
the royal,
but where the individual gets so excited about their vision because why the why wouldn't it happen that way? But it doesn't happen that way. And now you're going to shit on everyone else's parade because you didn't get your way in the big world of Star Wars.
Disappointment. Also,
Yeah.
Mudhorn just said that he could see the final shot of the season being Devin turning to the camera with Sith eyes. I'm so into that, Mudhorn, but I also want it to be because she wants to kill Maul and not because she's his apprentice. I think that little honest. Twist and expectation would really do it for me. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if anybody wants what makes Matt fun, that what makes fun for Matt, that would be fun for Matt.
I do not see them having her turn dark in 2 episodes.
No,
I don't either. I think she's going to want to get revenge on him for something he does or be the person that chases him. And over the course of the show, she's going to turn to the dark side. That's what I think.
I can agree with that over that second part, that over the course of the show and perhaps
like the show
season.
Yeah, like 3. Yeah.
As we go on to season 2,
7 seasons in a movie.
More. But I as we go into the next season, I almost feel like we're gonna see more of a. I feel like Daki's gonna die.
I definitely do.
I see, and here's the thing.
Here, 2 boots.
Circle back to the beginning of the podcast. Let me go back in time. I want a Daki figure. So if we could have like Daki in one of those 2-packs, like maybe they do a Daki with her, even though they already have her.
Daki Lawson, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Or you know what?
Daki Lawson.
They owe us a Maroc that's not rusty. I would take a Maroc Daki 2-pack. Like I will buy the exact same figure if he's not the rusty old Maroc.
I would love
that figure is not great. Like I'll take 2 Marocs any day of the week.
Well, if we get a new Maroc, then odds are maybe we'll get a price flux with the old Maroc. And then maybe I can get both Marocs. What's
Maroc evolution pack? You get him as a Jedi.
Just loses patience and shoots Devin. Apprentice that.
I love it.
I love that too. Frankly,
learn this.
Something she would do, but I don't know. I think almost. But anyways, let me finish my thought real quick. I got derailed.
Go for it.
If so, say Daki does die, and I can almost see them going into the next season, not even as a master and apprentice relationship, not as even partners in a we're together because we need to survive right now and that's how our life is type thing. But again, I agree with you, Matt, in the long haul that will manifest and become a bigger relationship, master and apprentice type thing. I do see that, but I just don't feel like they're going to rush that.
Yeah, that's what I agree. I don't think it's going to rush. And can I just say I also want to see the Crow die again because he's then basically a hot air balloon wearing a hockey mask. So I just want that for my own enjoyment. But I love the Crow. I can't wait for the figure, but I just want to see it again.
I'm excited for the figure. I am not. He's not like one of my. I don't know. I hope Maul kills him.
I mean, Ahsoka kills him shortly thereafter, unless this happens after that Ahsoka
multiple
bit.
crows.
Also, like, it's interesting to me because obviously in Rebels, Ahsoka is much more on this like enlightened path and doesn't kill the 2 Inquisitors on the first fight. But like, did you see what she did like 15 years before to the Crow? Like, how did she not dog walk Maul?
Right,
like when he was fighting her in Rebels.
Well, 15 years, maybe he was 15 years less experienced as well.
Anyway, yeah, I agree with Hal Renner. I do want the Crow to have like one line of dialogue, but Maroc and him both have that like guttural bad guy echo voice. So like, I want to see them. I want to see them both go to karaoke. Yeah, and like pick like a Britney Spears song just with those voices. Anyway, I think we're up to ratings, gentlemen.
We're gonna move ratings after and do ratings together at the
tail
end
of ratings. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you're up on the next episode.
For 8, moving into 8 here. 8, I don't have a lot to talk about on, honestly.
You like
it worked.
Look at it. That's a show. That happened.
It really was. I loved that the entire time that he was doing the visions, I was thinking through the Force, things you will see, other places, the future, the past, old friends long gone.
Yes.
And what's really, really poignant with that is that he does not have Yoda there to talk him through it. And a minor spoiler for you there, Anthony, there's in the High Republic, Elzar works with Orla to deal with his visions.
Okay.
And he does not have a way seeker there to help him deal with this.
Yeah.
He he's dealing with it on his own, and the way that he deals with it is through the hatred and through the pain.
Yeah.
And he's
You're
focusing
getting a
and
view
fixating.
of what happened when he was going nuts in the
Mhm.
junkyard. Like that was everything that happened. That was just his continual thought process for like 10 years.
So that to me was really poignant, especially just thinking about it compared to other characters and how they were able to deal with the same problems that they were facing.
There's a light side, dark side, and there's an inherent madness in him. And like what you're saying, I didn't think of it, but the idea that when you find him and he's just yelling at nothing, when Savage finds him, that's what he was seeing. And he'd been seeing that for, I think at that point, well, like 10 years in the show, or like 9 years. Yeah.
But the main thing with this episode is I was completely taken out of it. And you want to know why I was taken out of this episode? That is because, similar to David a couple weeks ago saying, why is Maul running away from the police? He took down a Star Destroyer in half of the 501st. In episode 7, we watch LAATs get blown the heck up left and right. A Gatling laser takes out this thing. They're just like, somebody threw them in the popcorn thing, and they are blowing up left and right. And now suddenly the stolen car is bulletproof. Who is she think she is? Vin Diesel?
She was there with her family.
It totally took me out, because these LAATs suddenly they blew up a Mandalorian ship with 2 rockets, and they can't blow up the speeder. It just completely took me out of it in the worst possible way.
I hear you. I hear that's fair. I love you. That's a you thing. Like you got to suspend it. I will note though what David was saying, that he took out a Venator by destroying the core of it. So like it's not like he pulled down a Star Destroyer, and then in the 501st he killed a hallway of officers the same way he killed the police officer. So I'm going to defend the point that I don't agree with that necessarily. But what I did, I just have to say this: his legs. You know what was going through my mind the whole time? Well, guess he's getting new legs, so I have to buy a new action figure.
I don't know. Here's what I think. Going to your prediction thought on the legs, though, is we see him using his lightsaber as a cane in Rebels.
Yes. Holy shit.
Maybe he never gets that leg fixed.
And
pains him forever.
And I think, I mean, if anybody's seen the trailer, there is a move that might be a misdirect where it does feel like he's the one that kills Marok in the trailer. And that's in the trailer. I'm not ruining anything for everybody. No. And we know that when he has that lightsaber cane, it has the curve from a broken Inquisitor blade. It's made from an Inquisitor lightsaber. So I would be very curious to see that if that happens this season, but that I think will happen in the show, like his made from an Inquisitor lightsaber. Maybe there's more damage done to his, or that becomes like his renewed, like on my resolve, I'm taking down the Empire. Also, Mudhorn, I love that Leonard Cohen, and I tried to give it.
I knew you would. It's been in my head since you put that.
Yeah. So I was gonna go with like a Chelsea Hotel #2 joke, but I feel like nobody would know that. Anyway, so yeah, Ari, do you have anything else, my friend?
I'm good.
So I'm just gonna say that episode was phenomenal. I understand your feelings, but the speeder chase with Devin. Like I continue to love like when she flew the LAAT, that how capable she is. And I commend the show because as in any other Star Wars, like even with Riley, when they bring in a new character, they're very wide-eyed and a little annoying. And then over the course of the show, you learn to see them become who they are and you love them. And Riley is not annoying. She is highly capable. You've got no characters that are like the point of view of an innocent viewer. Devin and Riley, I think they're both like not that annoying, like kids, and I think it's really good the way they do that. And I love how capable she is. She went from a figure that I was like, I'm not going to pre-order, I'll get her someday, to like, I thought they were all coming out the 4th. I know everybody's disappointed that it's not coming out till July, but I was so ready to open that figure and take a photo on the 4th. But I will say, Ari, I fully agree with everything you said. I think the most important part of the episode, which might be one of the most beautiful things you've ever seen with Maul and his motivation, is the end of that whole vision thing where he looks in the puddle and he is a little boy that was taken and tortured, and in the puddle it then becomes who he is, and he says, I will never let that happen to anyone again. I'll never let him do that to anyone again, or whatever he says. And I think that, and you guys know Maul's my third, I'm wearing my hat, he's my third favorite character. That moment in the show boils down to the hundreds of hours of content that you've seen of Darth Maul. That is who he is. He is upset and he does feel like he didn't get what he was supposed to get, but at his core he feels, and that's will he avenge us in that amazing twin sons fight. At his core, the surface is all this static and all this crap about, we're gonna take over, but at his core he is a wounded person that is genuinely does see how evil the emperor is. He may feel like there are evil means that need to get him to overtake him, but what he's really trying to do, regardless of the power he seeks, is make sure the emperor can't ever hurt anyone again. And it makes him, while being a villain, there is a little bit of a noble purpose in there that then makes him dying in Twin Sons after that already hit super hard. I was almost gonna drop an F-bomb, and it makes it hit so much harder. And
good censorship
with that though, David mentioned this as well, that same thing. So you guys are on a perfect wavelength.
Yeah, I'm representing David who's not with us.
But he's
not physically here. But he is alive.
Keep that bit going the whole cast.
He sees that, and he sees that as Maul is now wanting to save Devin from the Inquisitorius. He's
fair,
not just trying to pull her as an apprentice. He's saying the Inquisitorius will capture and turn her like they turned Barriss. They want her to become another tool of Palpatine.
Yes, 100%.
And he will not let that happen.
Yeah, and I think that when you think back on it too, there is, it also brings forward that, like, listen, he was tortured. There's a degree of nobility in what he's trying to do. He was raised on this evil, so that's the means and like what has been, basically beat into him. But and I think that moment might be the single most important moment in this entire show, because that is where you really understand who Maul is beyond what we've seen. And if anybody wants to know how that actually went down, check out the Maul Son of Dothamir comics. They are canon, so they will very much explain to you who his mother is. I'm not going to tell you, it's not a real shocking spoiler, and how it went down that he was given to Palpatine, because there's a lot of flashbacks in that, and it also fills in the gaps between Mandalore in season 5 or 6 of the Clone Wars and then where we are in the last 4 episodes. So great 4-issue series that was actually going to be in season 7 before it got canceled. So it was going to be a 4-part arc, and now it's comics. But then my last thing, and I can go over to my main man, I'm not a committee, is we're getting Dryden, everybody.
I was wondering if you were gonna
think Bettany's coming back, because we know I love me some Solo.
I mean, they gave us Kira in the Outlaws.
Yeah.
So, and it was voiced by Emilia Clarke. So
yeah, and she was also in the Battle of the Bounty Hunters comics, which if you really want spoilers to know how everything goes down potentially towards the end of this TV series, read the Battle of the Bounty Hunters and the Crimson, I think it's called like Crimson
Rain, Crimson Dawn, Crimson blah blah blah.
Yeah.
6 different Crimson.
6 different crossovers. 8 years of stuff happened between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, packed into 1 year in that comic series. But Ant, it's all you.
Yeah. So I enjoyed the episode a lot. I think for me, you clearly have two very different things going on in this episode. If I could go like this, I kind of separate them out.
Yeah, 2 very different vibes.
I would do that. So I'm going to talk about Maul first.
Go ahead.
So with his story, I will echo your guys again on this. It's not a surprise. We're all in agreement, but I think this is a super I guess Ari, you didn't necessarily disagree, but I know you didn't like the speeder part of the episode, but I think you agree with this, is that this is the Maul element of this episode is a very critical part of understanding this character. And, especially for people who may not have seen Clone Wars, or, it's been a minute.
You're going to be so confused.
Your statement right there, Anthony, is adjusting my rating a little bit.
Okay.
You're giving me some empathy for the people.
I never saw anybody.
Well, good, because like for me, like when he's having these flashbacks and stuff, like I don't really recall Clone Wars. I might have honestly skipped a season. I don't know for sure. I'll rewatch it at some point. But yeah, so this is like, for me, that was a really, really important part in what we forget sometimes as fans, is that we are super fans, and everyone, in all intents and purposes, everyone listening right now most of our folks on the Instagram who are Star Wars people, like we are what one would call a super fan. When I go up to someone, a colleague, and start telling them what I do with my figures and my photos, they don't look at me and say, "Oh, you like Star Wars? You must like Star Wars a little bit." They're like, "Oh, so you love?"
Yeah,
Star
I get that a lot
Wars."
too.
And
It's
I'm
like, "Oh, so you're
"Yeah."
nuts."
I'm like, that's my happy place. So, but anyways, all that aside, there's a huge amount of people, probably way more than us super fans, that will watch the show that do not have those details. And it's important to remember that, because if you think it's, well, we know all this. I didn't, watching this, like when the Force Lightning with Palpatine, I'm like, holy shit, like this guy, he really gave him the old one too. So I did really enjoy that. And then, as he's kind of trying to just get through that tunnel, like it was painful to watch, honestly. I felt so bad for him.
Yeah.
And that is the other thing about this show that I love, is that we're following an antagonistic, is that a word, character in Star Wars, and we are rooting for him wholeheartedly, because
and this really helped you do that for sure.
Yeah, because why would we not? He's not that bad, right? Like, he's really not that bad. He's trying to take out the Empire, and they're the bad guys. So Maul's kind of like, he's not that bad. So, but
I do want to know when he goes from being, "Hey, Palpatine, screw you," to, "I am only here to kill Obi-Wan."
Yeah,
right.
Well, that's I mean, they give you a little
yes,
that in the Crimson Empire,
but he trumps out.
But I want to get to what you're saying with the cane. Call me old master.
So yeah, I loved that. And now
I do want to.
This is a. Go ahead.
You go. Oh, I was going to say, from what you were saying, do you guys ever wonder if like, we're all super fans, right? And again, I know you were in that position in this episode, but like when people say to me, like, Ahsoka is basically Rebels season 5 live action, though, live, but there are people that that have watched it, that are friends of mine, that said they could keep up, and there are people that have said they couldn't because they hadn't watched Rebels. So similar in this case, I would love to talk to someone that like picks something up like Rebels or Maul Shadow Lord without necessarily the context, like truly picks it up, that's not even a casual fan that just wanted to watch the show. Are they really able to follow what's going on? And they do a pretty good job in these shows of exposition, but it's very curious to me. It's something I always think about. So Ant, that was a really good point. That's all I wanted to say.
And I think, and I know I have to bring it up at least once a podcast, I think that's why the Acolyte actually did so well outside of superfans, is that there was nothing to follow. This was square one. There was absolutely zero prerequisites for this course. And the vast majority, as we saw this past week, like Acolyte jumped back into the top 10 for Disney Plus. Like, how cool is that? We have the show that really the fans killed, essentially. They hated it. We all hated it. Why? I loved it. But now it's back in there. So I think it's cool that it's getting a little resurgence, and we'll keep talking about Maul.
For the record, I didn't hate it, Ant. I just like good pacing. But
you always think I'm talking about you.
I did like it.
Oh, then you would love my ratings for these episodes, man.
I never love your ratings for episodes.
But no, I'll wrap this up. I know we're coming close on time here, but the other part of the episode, which was basically the chase to save Riley. I appreciate your perspective, Ari, but I did not share that one bit. Yeah. I loved the chase scene. I thought it was fantastic. I was on the edge of my seat, truthfully, literally on the edge of my seat, and I thought it was great. Now, getting up to it, how she steals the speeder from the guy for a minute, you're like, oh no, he's gonna.
Oh, that was so great.
That was great.
So great. I love a smash cut.
Now, another thing we didn't talk about is Two Boots, and where did he change? So of course, great. I know we mentioned the boots. Did we mention it?
Yeah. I recognized him.
And that comment itself. And see, I'm like, okay, that's very similar to our C-3PO comment in Rise of Skywalker.
It's in.
I was afraid you might not recognize me with the red arm, or the Force Awakens. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
so thought that was, I see some parallels with the
poetry,
sequels,
it rhymes.
but I'm gonna get I'll stop talking about the sequels too.
We're gonna lose followers, man. We're gonna lose followers.
I know.
I'll
Goodness
fight you if you don't
gracious
like
me.
Force Awakens. Come on the cast.
So, but no, Two Boots. So he again is seen in here, and he's all about his protocol up until he's not. So I
Yeah.
think we have our named but unnamed to me because I don't know it. Officer or other policeman or whatever you want to call these guys, who had his little chat with Two Boots, and I thought that was another really awesome
well
scene.
done.
Yes.
Where
Two
The
Boots
coffee cup
finally
scene.
understanding that
Yes.
this was like protocols, and that so they've done a great job, like you were saying. I forget which point of like kind of leading you up to the Mandalorians. It's a great point. They've done such an excellent job of hell yeah, Mudhorn Station sequels fan. But they've done a great job of kind of like not making these things, like I said, Devin, not just immediately turning, making you earning all these important
Yes.
moments and not just giving them to you. And I think I want this guy to write way more Star Wars. Like I think he's done a
I do
great
too.
job.
And what I think was really cool about Two Boots' story so far in particular is that, you know, we almost in the first clip, and I guess I don't want to speak for everyone. In the first couple of episodes, I fall in love with this guy. I'm like,
Yeah, me too.
this partnership, him and Lawson, like they're my boys. They're going to take us home through this movie. It's going to, through the show. It's going to be great. Now, all of a sudden, we get this huge shift very quickly where we're like, okay, maybe they don't have the relationship we thought they had. He is purely a droid. He is following his protocol. He's calling the Empire. Now the Empire is involved. Now Riley's there. His son's being interrogated by a freaking Inquisitor. And this droid is still not quite grasping.
Well, he's
it.
learning. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
And then he has this conversation, and I think this conversation is what kind of it tips him off in that moment where he says to Lawson, "Deal's off."
Yeah. I think him finding out.
That might have been my favorite scene in these two episodes.
It's awesome.
It was really like it just made my heart sing, and in a world that is full of horrible things, sometimes it's really nice to see these like really heartwarming interactions, even if it's just a brief moment and then you just back into the action. It's just like it. I almost, like Maul, I almost shed a tear in that moment. I love the episode, and that's we can move on.
I love the turning point. Then I think we'll do ratings probably. The captain was killed because you can't see his face.
Yes.
But the responsibility of that is what I think really moves him, because he realizes if he turns Lawson in, Lawson's going to get killed.
Yes.
And there's a very subtle thing where he goes to clink his coffee with an Imperial, and they just kind of walk by him. So he realizes that he really made an oopsie when he called
and it was interesting. What led into that conversation is Two Boots himself pointing out that this officer isn't following Imperial protocol.
Yeah.
So the officer is he's going rogue a little bit. He's a little power hungry, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, that guy's not a problem. He got blowed up real good.
Nothing bad gonna happen to that guy.
Why are we so strict and everything is on? Everything is so. The Empire's here, and we're all just walking around with cups of coffee. Like,
listen, man, if you're up all night chasing your best friend, you gotta get a little of that.
Yeah,
he can't even drink coffee. All right,
it's
for show. Because he likes the ritual.
Even the guy, the other guy who stopped him and had the conversation, he's holding a cup of coffee.
Oh yeah,
the officer's holding a cup of coffee.
Maybe that's their primary export.
Probably. So
you get into those coffee fields, and it's pretty crazy over there. All right, ratings.
Let's make some enemies tonight. First off, I'm going to start just by saying I hate rating out of 10. Rating out of 10 feels like it drives mediocrity.
You could rate just stop rating 10 to 10, right? Like this is not. Nobody's holding a blaster to your head.
I feel like I am, because everybody rates out of 10 everywhere. I hate rating out of 10.
Be the change you wish to see in the world.
I won't. I'm going to drive mediocrity with my ratings. Don't worry.
That's fine.
Episode 7. I thought episode 7's story itself was incredibly bland. I am not here for action, which is what this episode was.
What if there was one more action?
Can I get an action?
I did love the lightsaber fight. in the cave.
So that was the
And
one more action.
Even more, I loved the very simple, and we talked about this in our group chat, the anime cut of Wild West style eyes to eyes between Devin and Maul. To me, that's the highlight of the show so far. That is the absolute highlight of editing that I have seen on this show. And for that, for the cave lightsaber fight and that scene, despite hating that it was just all action, I found the Mandalorians running off and being immediately blown up, wildly predictable. I give it a 7.
7?
Yep.
Nice.
Holy
Hell
shit,
yeah.
that's an amazing Ari rating.
It is amazing because of that cave.
Man, the hero's journey. The cave led Ari to be the hero, giving it a 7.
For 8, it was very fine as well. It was predictable to me, especially on the good guys side of the story. And for me, and this is where you're going to get me to raise it higher than what it was when I wrote my rating.
Now a 2.
No, it felt like a greatest hits of things we know from all.
Okay.
For me, and that I didn't love.
Sorry, are you giving it a 7 out of 20? Or are you saying
he's driving mediocrity?
No, he said 20. He was helping.
But so I think, with that being said, the fact that made me think about Yoda and the aspects of other Jedi compared to Maul's journey really drives it up. And adding in that not everybody knows what I know about Maul's journey drives that up a little bit too. My suspension of disbelief and the Tom Cruise chase scene, which I have written about in blogs before, where you have your heroes in a chase scene and you know they're getting away, but it has to be a chase scene, so you're going to watch the chase scene. Drives it back down. It's a little bit of a roller coaster for me here. I'm giving this one an 8.
I paid for my whole seat and I'm only using the edge. You said 8?
Yep.
Wow. Guys, we're done podcasting. I don't think we're ever going to see these numbers.
I'm giving high ratings.
We're ruining you.
What it's calling out to, what it's calling back to, is so much more than what the episode did for me that it drives everything up.
That's fair, and that's
so
good.
There we go. That's a 7.5 on the night. David was a 7.5 overall as well, by the way.
Very nice.
Is David your earpiece? You can tell me.
No, I have all the messages he sent me on my phone right here.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's not with us. But
much to your Jude Law, he's in. Wait, hold on. Before I make that comment, I just want everyone to know while he's not physically here, David is alive as well.
If you guys hate this joke, please type into the comment.
Much to your Jude Law in your closet, man. David is safely in Ari's closet.
That just happens. Reference so similar to Maul. Sorry if you haven't seen that show. I guess it's my turn. Episode 7. For me, I loved it. I think that there's a lot in there that I really liked. I really love Ant, again, driving up ratings with the punching his leg, bringing that back to Force Awakens. Great parallel. I do think there were shots in it similar to what you were saying, Ari, that were just breathtaking. When the Inquisitor ship lands and you get that overhead shot on the stone, and it's walking, and it's hovering over in Maroc shadow, and really the only color in that is black beyond gray. And then when it opens and you see the red behind the crow and the way like it illuminates the silhouette was just beautifully shot. It was like watching like a Denis Villeneuve, I thought that's how you pronounce it, movie, like a Dune or a Blade Runner 2049. But I really like that. I loved, like I said, the parallels to Maul and Savage and really setting up that punch in the next episode. And I loved that Devin, we're not just getting her turning, and the way she kind of came down on Maul and him holding back the lightsaber. And there's also a parallel there with fighting on a catwalk for Maul from Phantom Menace. It's that really nowhere to go.
Yes.
For me, I would say the episode was about a 9.2 in there. I liked it a lot, but I feel like it's not the sum of its parts is the next episode. And the next episode, I mean, if anybody doesn't think I'm giving that bad boy a 10, I don't think you've been listening tonight and just trying to, whatever. But but I definitely a 10. I don't even really have anything else much to say about that. And to your point about the kind of knowing what's going to happen, I have a very strong opinion that a trope is not a trope if it's done well. And some of the times that you say we've seen this before, I was still having a lot of fun watching it.
Okay.
And I think that
That's
all
fair.
of us who are super fans kind of forget. And that's why I hold Andor out in a class of its own, because it's excellent and it is one of the best TV shows I've ever seen. Star Wars inherently, regardless of these dark moments, is supposed to be fun. And for me, all the stuff like when Devin was flying the LAAT and he's like, "You're going to get us killed," and she makes the snarky remark and goes under, and the car. That's why I love Rebels. It is the spirit of what I love in Star Wars and what George Lucas put out that had made all of us love Star Wars.
What is it, man? Say your thing.
What do I say?
What is Star Wars? It's
about hope. Oh, it's Star Wars. Oh, this is my thing. Whenever somebody goes nuts about Star Wars, I'm like, this is a children's fable about wizards with laser swords fighting evil warlocks. Like, and with a bunch of pirates and around them. So like that, when I watch that chase, I have like the opposite feeling of you, which is okay. Everybody, we like divergent opinions on this show. I'm a little kid watching the Millennium Falcon getting chased by TIE fighters. And that's why I loved that. So it's a difference of, for me, it's not a trope if it's done well, and it brings back that feeling of chills and excitement. So 10 for me, boys.
Love it. Is it me now?
It's
you.
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're here.
I'm here. I am here.
In the
So both episodes for me, I'm gonna just give them both 10s because again, I don't have anything that I disliked about them. I have everything that I liked about them. So if anyone's new to the show, I'm gonna give it a 10 unless I can find something I actively don't like.
And if he doesn't like it, it's a 9.7. So it's not
yeah,
right.
But no, call me easy to please, or just
that's the best part about
who
you.
Likes to enjoy Star Wars for what it is and for what I'm given, and that's the truth of it. And like we've talked about here, where Ari might not like that episode as much because that scene isn't as realistic as kind of, they shouldn't have survived. Let's put it that way. But they did. And that might be a reason he isn't as fond of that episode. But at the end of the day, this is still something that we all enjoyed. And it is great Star Wars.
Yeah.
I think that
just because we don't like a part of an episode or something doesn't mean it's a bad show by any means. And I do want
why my rating is what it is.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I do want to point out Hellrunner's comment there too. He said the show is fun and all, but the overall larger narrative hasn't progressed much at all. Like nothing has happened really. Yeah, so
it's fair.
I don't disagree. I think it has been. If you look at the big picture,
it's a slow burn.
It's a very slow paced show that is action packed.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And it's kind of a confusing cup of tea. So you kind of got to roll
cayenne in that coffee. You know what I'm saying?
You just got to see what happens. But
they mess it up a little bit too with the order too, because so far it's been the first episode is the slow one, the second one's the fast one, and then this week the first one is cranking it to 11, and then they slow it down for half of the episode and then crank it back up to 11.
Yeah. So I think the biggest things I'll just briefly reiterate that I really enjoyed were, again, I think we all love the cave scene. In particular, for me, the parallels it drew to the episode 5 Acolyte fights episode, just the whole episode, because that's what the whole thing looked like. And then episode 2, just kind of really having those two stories that progress just in tandem together, but completely, and exclusively in their own right as well. And like we said, the Maul flashbacks are what really worked for me in that episode, but that worked for me for the reason that I stated. I just didn't have that knowledge, and for a lot of people, they may not, who knows. And then the chase scene and anything. So I think Devin I agree, Devin's a great character, and I think that, like, I really want a Devin and Taki 2-pack. Oh,
you want a hostage pack?
Yeah. But I don't pre-order, so they can give it to
you. Get that hostage pack and your Devin, and then you make a custom Devin character.
Yeah, you get Darth Talon,
the other
100%. Yeah, that's perfect.
Or you give me that Devin, and you keep
Also, by the way, I don't hate Hellrunner for saying he doesn't like 2 boots. It's fine. I don't care.
He doesn't like him because he became -1 boots. No boots.
He's a little beast.
I do want to, before we get, and I know we have Collector's Corner running late, but I do want to say to everybody that's listening, and you guys hear how we're talking, that a very important thing to us on the show is differing opinions. We're never going to come at anybody for not liking something. We may bust
some
testicles, bust some chops. Ari is chopless at this point, but I just want people to know, like, it is okay in the comments to not like something, and we'll talk about it. And we pride ourselves on all fans' opinions, as long as they're not like highly toxic, are welcome on this show. So just want to reiterate that to everybody, that Hellrunner is an old friend of all of ours, so he knows this. But I think anybody else, just know that this is not meant to be a pile on joy. The part of the joy is being able to debate it. And then I know we've Collector's Corner.
All right, and we're gonna move right in because I know that it's late for some of us, especially those of us who are across the pond. Thank you for staying on so late. All right, Collector's Corner, we're doing a little bit of a deep dive into, you guessed it, the High Republic.
Oh boy.
All right, that's
So on this panel in this comic, you see what is called a Jedi Vector. This vehicle is used exclusively by Jedi. It requires a lightsaber to activate and be able to pilot. You must set it into a specific spot in the ship to activate it. And then they are extremely fiddly ships. And they require a high force attunement to really be able to function. So you could steal somebody's lightsaber and be able to fly this thing. But you would not fly it well. So I want to show a Lego custom that a friend got me all the parts and pieces for.
I love this one.
This is a Jedi Vector in the flesh. We got space for a droid to sit, which you could see in the image I showed earlier. You've got space for your Jedi Master to sit here. And then in the back, they got a little spot for the Padawan to sit as well, because of course it flies better with 2 Jedi working in tandem. And I really just wanted to show off this pretty awesome representation of a vehicle that we see in artwork, but not physicalized anywhere yet. I disagree.
Wait, it was in the Acolyte.
No, it was in maybe it was in the Acolyte. You're right. It was in the space scene when they come in for a landing, but it was also in Young Jedi Adventures. Okay. They all have one of those. And then the other thing, I'm going to go ahead and ruin everyone.
Wait, Ari, did you make that, or did somebody make that for you?
So I built it. My friend sourced the parts and gave them to me for my birthday in a bag, and it's like, here, open up this instruction pamphlet I flip printed for you.
Now,
build that.
Before you move on to your next one, the Vector, can that be piloted without the Master in it?
Yes, it can. But it requires a lightsaber to activate. That's the big thing.
So if you
you and I and Matt and Han Solo could not fly it.
But if we had,
then I don't want it.
Like if a Jedi, like if you were like trying to do something crazy, and maybe I read this already in one of the books, and that's why it's coming into my head. But like if they're like running, they could like use the Force to chuck their lightsaber into it and have it like take off, and then they could be doing their thing on the ground and having it fight for them in the sky.
Yes, you could see that.
Is that something
you may have seen it? I'm trying to. I think you may have seen it at some point.
Yeah. Good stuff. I love the High Republic too. I'm really, and what I love about it even more is that obviously you're here to guide me through it. And that has brought us, into some new conversation with Star Wars, which is always fun. And also just really got me back into actually reading a book. And that feels pretty good.
I'm gonna do it, guys. I just don't want to be left out.
I love it. We will pressure you into it, and then we're going to show
and do your little audiobook thing.
Characters from the books. And this is, some of you have seen this on my Instagram before. This is a custom young Vernestra Rowe when she has purple hair. Padawan, actually no, freshly knighted in this. She was the youngest Jedi Knight of her time, younger than Bananakin, of course. And really has a quite an amazing journey throughout the High Republic books of the crushing weight of expectation put upon her. And I really love her as a character because we get to see her grow in a way that, and we see this with multiple Jedi throughout the High Republic, but you get to see what would have happened if Anakin had grown up in a time where the Jedi Order was not in shambles. What would his trajectory have been? And you get to see that with Vernestra. You get to see that with Elzar. You get to see what it's like for a Jedi to have a support system rather than having to be a soldier. And it's really a cool thing.
I'm really enjoying
talking about it.
I just did too.
In hyperspace, that's her biggest challenge.
I did too.
Yes,
I think Vern is really cool. Not only because they brought her into the Acolyte guys, but let's be real, that was really cool. And I think that what is fun for me about Vern is that there is a Star Wars Black Series action figure of Vern, and Ari, correct me if I'm wrong, but to our knowledge, Vern is not dead.
To our knowledge.
Or not. I'm not saying that she's alive per se, but
yes,
it is actively possible that we
do not know Amiri Allen's lifespan.
Her lifespan. So it's possible that she could still be alive well into some time frames that my head canon could create. So I've been thinking of some fun photographs with her. So you should do that with your Legos Tech too.
I'm going to show one more thing before I wrap us up for the night.
We did hit a buck 15. I said we weren't, but we did.
Trials of the Jedi, the final adult novel of the High Republic. And this is incredibly special to me and is the reason why I am still reading it. I'm only this far into the book, despite it coming out last summer. And that is because every time I started to read it, I got to this inscription because I had it personally inscribed by my close personal friend, Charles Soule.
You really? That's like my favorite comic. Wow.
And it says,
he wrote,
to Ari, you are a luminous being, Charles Soule. And I could not get past that page in this book for every time I tried to open it until about a month ago. And it's just really special. I also have something inscribed by him to my older son, the Poe Dameron #1 comic. I met him when he was in Grand Rapids a couple of years ago. And just a really great guy. Loves Star Wars. Great writer overall.
Check out his Vader books. Those comics
they're so
redefine Vader. They're phenomenal. Everything.
Are those the ones I read?
Yes, you did read his.
Nice.
Like how I asked you that with High Republic. I'm like, Ari, do I own that comic? But yeah. Ari's the keeper of now. He's our Jocasta new.
Yes.
At some point, I'll wear my costume for this.
Oh yeah, boy! I'll hold my blasters.
Yes.
All right.
But
and I'll put a helmet on.
Yes, it's going to be amazing.
Do the whole
So, my friends, that brings us to the end of Jedi Journals, episode 4. I Am Not a Committee, Ant. We say thank you for joining us tonight. For Black Series Daily Desk, Matt, thank you for your insights as always. And for myself, Ari, I'm going to sign us off with a little bit from the High Republic, and that is, of course, we are all the Republic for the light and the life. If I can find the end button.
Ari, end the podcast.
I'm just going to say